Okay, so back again after our success yesterday. We've been reinvigorated a little bit, although there was a reason why it's taken me a little while to get back. So here's my Retroachievements profile again. To you old school gamers, you'll remember what one of those is, right? If you had a Commodore Amiga, you had to have one of these, a zip stick. So really surprising myself with the progress that I'm making through this game. The one that we did yesterday is this one, and obviously I made a mistake, as I said in the video, because I died and I stopped recording and I wanted to catch the progress up to where I was without having a bunch of stuff to edit out, and then happily completed the level without pressing play and record. So I missed my achievement, but this is what we earned yesterday. This is what came up in the top left hand corner the first time I did it, and we got it out of the way. You can see that the site rewards these blue points, which are the main payment, right? So I think you can get up to 50 if you do insanely hard levels in some of these old school games. 25 is the most I've earned. You can get anywhere between 1 and basically 25 and maybe more, depending on, like I said, what games you're playing. Some of those Final Fantasy games, just ridiculous achievements in them. These are fluctuate a lot, and they go again from 1 to anything. And this basically is the ratio. This offsets against this and gives you a ratio and gives people an idea of the level of difficulty of the trophies that you're earning. You can see this is 225 compared to the 25, so that's one of the more difficult trophies on this game. Force a habit, achievement. So you can see here, getting out of the first level on normal will pay you out 5 of these plus only 8 of these, 8 of the retros. So as you come down and you get into the, finishing the game, doing these really hard levels will give you only 10 points and 80, which is really stingy. Like the level I've just done would have only given me 64. But this is really stingy compared to what you play these on hard and you start getting into 25s and 157s, 25 one. The one we did yesterday, there's the 225. But you come down here and the levels we're about to do are going up to 256s, and you've got these two babies. Now I think that this one isn't quite as hard as this one. This is the Christie level. This is the one where it's really difficult because the level's long, the save points are sparse, the ammo is sparse. And in the comments on my last video, a fella who I'm surprised someone even watched that, and then when I saw that it commented, I almost fell off my chair. But he said that he was talking about, I didn't mention in the video, the aliens endless spawn points. Well, because I think that happens more in this level. I mean, if he's probably correct, and it happens on maximum security as well, but I didn't really experience it. But I did experience it on this level at one particular point, which is highlighted by Civi 11 as well. I tried to trip the moment on normal, half walk past the spawn point, but they just kept still coming, draining my ammo like it was fun. This is the one we're going to do. We're going for this. When we come back, this is the one we're going for. We're going to go swimming. We're going to go for these 25 and 256 retro points and get to the Christie level. And whether I play that today or not will depend on the levels of frustrations. But I still, again, highly recommend this site. I will have a little look at my duck station settings, because the fellow who commented did ask me about my specific duck station settings. I'm not playing this with standard settings. For starters, I've turned the head sway off. I don't know why I'd want head sway. If I'm using a control pad, it's hard enough to target as it is, and now every time I walk, the thing's swaying from left to right. Turning off the head sway smooths the game up beautifully, but I've massively upscaled, and I have upped the FPS and the game speed. I've upped both. But I can't remember what my settings were because I set them up like a year and a half ago. I've been gradually chipping away at this, trying to get my achievements, and you can see that's been the main slog, right? Working towards a clean hard playthrough, which I'm up to now. I've just got to beat these last few levels and we're done. We've mastered the entire game. And you can see that the only games that I've actually managed to master, if I go back to the main kind of screen, is rather unimpressive. So Royal Rumble on the Super NES, which is easy, and Asteroids on the 2600. Did I get another one down here? No. I managed to master Soccer on the NES, but you do that by literally winning one game. So it's not master, that's a beat. When it's silver, you've beaten the game. When it's gold, you've mastered the game. I'm trying to get this gold, and not many people have done this. But anyway, I'll come back in a second with my duck station settings for you. Okay, so we're about to start level 7, which is the mess hall complex. But before we do that, I just want to have a look at my settings. So allow me to just pause this a second, because staggered enough that I was that anybody's even watching these, somebody gave me a reply. So I want to answer your question about my settings. So this is on DuckStation. It has been enhanced the heck out of. I did my setups about a year and a half ago, my settings about a year and a half ago, so I can't remember exactly what I changed from default, but we're running 3 times for 720. You haven't quite gone to 1080 because I'm running it's a ProBook 470 G2, so it's quite an old machine. It tends to run games up to about the PS2 to an okay standard. If I start trying to upscale PS2, it might get a bit stuttery, but what it can do is it can upscale PS1. It still will not upscale PS1 to the level that I'd like, but it does a pretty good job. Now, the reason I've gone down to 720 is because of this. I've gone to 125% on the frames per second, and I've upscaled it to 75 NTSC 62 PAL, which, if I go any higher than that with that and 1080 graphics, my PC can get a little bit stifled. And the one thing you don't want to be doing is playing this game with stifled PC settings. These are important as well. Now I'll have to try and find the link for you and put it in the description, but there was a guy who did this on YouTube, and I copied his settings for basically just blanket across, because I played the Medal of Honor games, strangely world's scariest police chase, and a bunch of other first-person shooting driving games that I really want to play going forwards. And these are kind of my settings throughout all of it, because, like for example, Road to World Cup, the football game, really does look like the PC version when I do this, and that's kind of like what I'm aiming for. But these are my DuckStation settings, so if I just for one more time flash them up for you. The one thing as well that I will say is, if I just unpause this, listen to these rather disconcerting growling. If I go into this here, you can see that basically I always have my invert on because I'm an old school gamer. Spectrum days, and these are usually halfway. I think these are 4 each to start with, and so is the dead zone, but I drop these right down because the controls are, it's a little bit like ice skating after 10 beers. You go to do something and you've overdone it, and you're on the floor, you're in a heap, there's blades everywhere, you know, it's ill-advisable. So what I have done is I've dropped these controls down to a very stodgy, I don't find it stodgy because the game moves so slow anyway. I think this is kind of just optimized for how fast you move, the kind of range that the aliens move around the screen, because you don't want to be tracking them like you're playing Call of Duty. You want to be strafing sideways and trying to get them into your target, because if you start trying to move the reticle all around the screen, especially if you're playing with a controller, which I am, you can find that you're overcompensating a lot. So I turn these right down. The dead zones, literally, I don't really want to have to move the controller and it not respond to me, so I've dropped them right the way down. You've got to have vibrate on. There's also an option, right, which I for some reason can't find here, and it is to turn off head sway. I guess you have to do that at the start. I guess that's the start screen options, because you can turn head sway off, and turning head sway off massively smooths this game, makes it a much smoother. So I'd highly recommend that as well, along with your DuckStation settings. It really does turn this game into something quite incredible. It really modernises it and gets you somewhere near the remaster that I've been dreaming of since the 2000s. But anyway, I'm going to stop rabbiting now. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. I'm going to reload it and we're going to play this level properly, and let's see what we can do. Okay, so we've tried a couple of techniques with this and it isn't working. We're going to persevere with it and basically waste all of our ammo. Now these two guys are going to drop. There isn't anything you can do about it. Right, here come the facehuggers. Now, in answer to the guy's question,
access denied. Non-human presence detected.
now one of the biggest issues of hard is remembering to reload. Right, now I think... Nope, there's still one more.
Access denied. Non-human presence detected.
Right, so we've got this bit done. And it's always a little bit tricky to do this without caning a load of ammo. So now we can head towards... It's so hard to see anything on this level. Pretty sure there was a second one there. Second one went there for a second. So I assume he can't actually get in this room. He's stuck. Okay, so some relatively favourable conditions befitted us there. Okay, now we're going swimming. I cannot remember if... I think it's in that alcove, isn't it? You come in this alcove and you get attacked from both sides. No, just the one side. And here's the rocket launcher. Grenade launcher, if I'm being pedantic. So we can open this. We have a nice little med kit. Now down in here is an alien, and there is a trick to this, and I like to do the trick. Call it cheese. I actually hear it whipping at you already, but come up to here and jump out here and it trips him out. At least it did on normal. Damn, I cannot see him. There he is. You see him there? Look. Just by that. Right, let's see if we can pick him out because he's stuck. We got him. Right, so your O2 counter's going to go down. Grab that. Quickly fill up. And I believe we're going down here. Yeah. There'll be a little R2 prompt here by the valve. Get stuck to the gameplay is not advisable. Okay, so we've already got a guy feasting on a fella here. We can literally just lob wedge this guy out of here. Missed. Got him. Now what's going to happen here is we're going to get attacked by 3 of these guys. And what we want to do is find a way of going to the grenade back to the... Right, so here we're going to do this. And they're not going to come, and I'm going to waste 2 grenades. I don't think those grenades did anything. And it's not advisable to waste them. Right, so we cannot go this way. Oh, Christ, what is that? What is that? Where are you? Where are you? Right, I assume he's in there. lift. Oh. Blind side. Yep. Damn. Like that, is it, guys? And I'm pretty sure you're going to throw a load more at me around here. Okay, well, we actually took out at least 2 of them, but the other guy has decided to hold up. Don't know where he is. I'm pretty sure there's one more. Forgive my cowardice. You can hear him growling. I don't actually know where that guy is. A fella's going to drop down in the middle there. And what I try and do sometimes is catch him. Well, I didn't get it. That was a real stupid mistake. And the temptation is to get very clever with these weapons, but don't. Just don't. Man, I have to tell you that the jumping animation is the biggest weapon of these aliens, and they are horrible. The jump animations literally... If the alien decides to do that, can you see that little left movement in my controller there? That did that by itself. And it isn't helping. On normal, I could be very creative. I'd put a grenade there, the fella would fall into it, I'd save some ammo, but it's not working, and I'm really not prepared to keep dying. Him there. You can time him with a grenade, but I have had a pretty difficult time getting back here. So now we're not going to bother with trying to be clever, because I think we're doing good for ammo anyway. It's right at the end of the game, you want to watch that count there. Right, now this is a bit... I think there's some face huggers involved here. Yeah, there is. And I think there might be an alien
Access granted.
involved here. Again, some left-hand play in my controller, which is upsetting me, because that's going to happen when I least need it to. Okay, we're going back into the water. Right, okay, yeah, we have to do that quickly, of course we do.
Access granted.
Let's go. Okay. So, I cannot remember here. We're going to come down into this bit, and there are two or three things. And when we come back, I can't remember if we go into the middle one or that one there. Let's try this one. Yeah. So if we just do this, did that leave us? that was really stupidly done, and it happened again because I pressed the left stick in, and the left stick recenters the reticle. So really that was just bad gaming. No other excuse. Just bad gaming. Now of course it's happening because one is becoming somewhat tense, because this level is very stingy for save points, and I'm desperately trying to make the next save point, and I know what's coming in a second, and I'm not looking forward to it, because it's one of them make or break moments that send you right the way back to the start of the level.
Access granted.
Okay, here we go. This is going to be a right pain in the backside. And there you go. Okay, so back here we are, and if truth be told, now that was a silly move. Now what are these guys going to do here? Splat down into there. Oh, that's somewhat of a touch. I don't know how that's going to leave the lay of the land later, but let's spread the love. Yes, this is a very tricky part of this game, which is a little bit intricate, and if you don't get it right, as you saw last time, there's no
Access granted.
okay, there's no kind of perfect way to do this. You just have to kill this guy quickly. And I never know where he's coming from. There he is, we got him, we got him, we got him, we got him. We absolutely got him. It's the furthest one, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, I hope beyond hope that there's a save point up here. Did we? No, we didn't. I just want to check that other thing. We went up the middle one. I'm pretty sure we came in through here, didn't we? No, we didn't. That's the save point. Yeah, so we have to, okay. Okay, well that's a touch beyond touch. Let's save it. Okay, so and finally we have made progress past that initial stage. We've got to the first save point, and now we can start thinking about doing other things. Alright. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, those guys always just take that little spot there where they're both vulnerable to one explosion. Alright, bearings, bearings, bearings. I've got to remember how to do this. So I'm assuming we're going... We came up through there. That's it, we have to go up through one of these. Let's get a refill of oxygen. And it's up here, I believe. Let's refiller again. Now there's an awkward bit here. Yeah, it's here. So we come down here and we have pickups. But you have to be careful here, because as you swim up, you've got to pick this guy off first time. realise this happens. Yep, it's the same MO. You've got to get this guy. We got him. Let's go straight through his crotch. Xeno crotch. I don't think there's anything distinctive about them. we won't do a deep dive into that, kids. Right, here we go. Have no idea. I cannot remember what I'm emerging into here. Bearings, bearings, bearings. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm back in the drink. Right. I'm pretty sure I saw two tails. I did see two tails. Let them drop. Once again, their jumping animation, their jump through you animation costs you dearly. Now, if I remember rightly, one of these directions is, yeah, redundant. Okay, you can go through there, but I think you come this way. Scenic routes. That guy. Oh, wow. He's off after somebody else. Lift. Lift. Let me just check. Bear with me, because I don't want to leave anything behind. We don't leave anybody behind. Unlike the guys who left the Sergeant Diedrich. Yeah, that's redundant. Right. The Sergeant Diedrich were left behind. Interesting facts about how many aliens are actually left. By the time the Marines came to go for the dropship, that there might have only been a handful of aliens left, especially the sentry guns done for so many of them. Now, if I remember rightly, this is pretty difficult because I think flamethrowers, I think facehuggers get thrown at you here, as well as aliens. If in doubt, pulse rifle. I've mentioned it before, but I still am staggered by how well this game is designed. I can't imagine how good this would look if you had it on like a PS4 or even a PS5. Imagine if this game was made for the... Oh, I love you! See again, some left playing my control pad there. I've done the blowing on it. Excuse me, Vicar. I've done all these things and still...
Maintenance complete. Essential controls repaired.
Right, two very awkward pieces of this level have finally been done. And I'm just trying to remember now what I have actually just... There's something about maintenance. Oh, okay, yep. This is about to go off. So we've got the rocket launcher and 2 clicks that way is for that. Let's go. Oh dear. Quick, quick, quick. Not the flamethrower because it sucks, as Civi would say, but yes, the flamethrower because it doesn't suck in this scenario. If you have multiple facehuggers, use the flamethrower. It is not to be beaten. But the thing, in answer to the gentleman's question, the reason that I don't use the flamethrower all the time was because I didn't have it in the earlier missions, and the gunplay of shooting facehuggers with this thing is satisfying, especially if you get it down. It's satisfying. Now, I don't quite know what's going to happen here. Getting low on them.
Access granted.
Right, you have to be quick about this. Yeah, you have to be. Right, I was just a little bit concerned I was going to get, and I haven't used my favourite catchphrase here.
Access granted.
Ambushed. But I did not. Now I think this is the really annoying part underwater. Perhaps not just yet. Oh no. Yeah, I know. Okay, I know what this is. Now, do you see how you can really be very clever with those? Yeah, I didn't hit it that time. I could really do with some shotgun rounds right now. Speak of the devil. Okay, let's see, because there's going to be a few more coming around here. Always save your pulse rifle ammunition, because I think this is near the end of the level. There's a guy here. Right, now this is where this level gets fun. So I've only got 2 of them. So it's a case of hold out.
Lift enabled.
Blue alien there, I think. Pretty sure there was a sneaky blue alien in the middle of that. Unless it's just the colours are getting a bit warped. I've got 2 rockets that I could use, but I'm not going to. Right, I think that might be the level. Oh, for good measures. Oh, I tell you what. The first bit of this level is horrid. But I actually cannot believe that you survived that. But we have made it, and we've got just over 200 rounds of ammo left on this. And I think towards the last mission, The majority of it is the electric gun with Ripley. But I think the majority of Ripley's levels are done. Christie's, to be fair, you have got the you know, the docking clamps level, but that's mainly with the electric gun. But here we've got a lot of stuff done now on this game, and this is actually a very short mission, but the nature of the first half of it makes it a lot longer. But let's see if we've got our achievement anyway. It's all attitude. There you go. With water up to the neck, we got it. Ripley 8. Another one done, guys. Another one done. And absolutely we do. And what we want to do is carry on, because then we're going to use the next slot after that. So here we are. We're at Christie's level. And this is the one I've been dreading the most, so it might take me a few days to come back to this. But I hope you've enjoyed the journey so far. And we are getting towards the end. The next hardest chapter will be next. And I will see you there.